Oh, life could be a dream if I could take you up in paradise up above. If you would tell me I'm the only one that you love, life could be a dream, sweetheart. Now every time I look at you, something is on my mind. If you do what I want you to, baby, we'd be so fine. Oh, shaboom, shaboom. Shaboom, shaboom.
Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, whatever time of day you've chosen to join us here. Thank you very much. You have tuned in to What the Fuck Did I Just Watch with Adam and Braden. I am Adam.
And I am Braden.
And this week we are joined by a very special friend of mine. He is my grappling commentary compadre. He is the one and only T-Bear. How are you today, Bear?
I'm good, especially after getting to watch the movie again. I'm a huge fan, so...
Yeah, well, getting to watch it with you, I could absolutely see that this is one of your all-time favourites. I can see that shine through the entire way.
Very much so.
Braden, had you seen this before?
Never even heard of it before.
Wow, see, I'd heard of it, but I'd never seen it.
No, I had no idea what it was about or anything like that.
So
pretty
going into it, what do you think it was going to be about?
I had no idea what it was going to be about. I was like, Roadhouse, yeah, got no idea. 1989, Patrick Swayze. Yeah,
What do you like, guy? He did Dirty Dancing and he did Ghost, so I imagine it's a diner where he falls in love with some chick and they're probably going to be conflicts.
Yeah, probably. That's the staple, isn't it?
Yeah.
But I did work out pretty quickly that I had to kick my kids out of the room. They weren't allowed to watch it.
Why? Did you start watching this with the kids?
Yeah, I think it was the first sex scene that came in. I'm like, Riley, get out. He's like, no, I don't want to. Get out, Riley.
Yeah, it's definitely a classic 80s movie.
Yeah. As we'll get into when we review this thing has everything you need to make an 80s film. It's amazing, even down to the hair.
Oh, yeah.
See, I knew it was about a bouncer, but I'd never seen it, and like the cover, the poster where it's just him leaning against the sign, I was like, yeah, that doesn't scream interesting to like a 15-year-old Adam. At least
No.
David Lynch's covers, you look at him and you're like, holy shit, I'm having like an acid trip looking at this. I'm gonna get this movie.
It doesn't really scream interesting, like, at all, to be honest.
Roadhouse itself, or the premise, or
The poster that you're talking about.
yeah, it's pretty dull, isn't it?
Yeah, it's just Patrick Swayze.
I think
maybe that was their marketing thing. They're like, Patrick Swayze.
Pretty much. That's what I was going to say. I think what we're failing to miss here is we didn't come up at the height of Swayze mania when it was running wild. Bear, you had a bit more experience with Swayze mania. What did you think at the time? Was just putting Patrick Swayze enough on the poster, do you think, for just audiences to flock in?
Oh, I think there's actually a couple of different posters. I think the re-release is the one that we're talking about now. But as someone that was in the security industry from a very early age, this was almost like a Bible. I got to see and cater a lot of my sayings and stuff to things that were in that movie. In fact, I had the beta cord cassette, I've had the VHS cassette, I've got the DVD, I've got a high definition copy, I've got it on a USB. I can pretty much watch this movie in pretty much any language and still get it right.
Well, that's okay. Well, as we go along, I'm sure we will be deferring to you as to what is true industry standard for this. But I guess T-Bear, I can't really ask you, or maybe I can. What do you remember your feelings going in the first time you saw this?
The first time it was someone that I was working with told me I needed to watch it before I started working, which I then turned into the exact same when I started employing people in security, because the fundamentals haven't changed. It may be cheesy 80s pop kind of reference, but it's exactly the same as what you do now. You know, you don't want fights in front of a crowd. You know, anything happens, take it outside. Nothing's personal. It's only a job. You know, so much of it still reigns through. What is it, 20 or 30 years later? So.
Well, I mean, it reigns through in a lot of aspects. I mean, conflict de-escalation is the biggest thing I found in the series, talking about being nice, and that's something you learn even in retail. If you've ever worked the returns desk, you know, the nicer you are. Like, realistic, and this is a note for anybody out there who works in retail or hospitality or anything like that. The nicer you are to the biggest pieces of shit to you, the more like you actually win and make them angrier.
Yeah.
Because they want you to be mad, and if you're just like, thank you very much for letting me know that.
It's killing them with kindness.
Yeah, it's perfect.
Yeah.
Oh, you know that, Braden. You've had decades in the de-escalation business working in retail.
Yeah. You hit the nail on the head saying sort of nothing's personal. I don't take anything personally anymore. I don't care. I just, shrug it off. Whatever. Kill them with kindness. It's the best.
Yeah, just to make a lot of people can't do.
Well, they walk out pissed off and you don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
That's pretty much exactly how it is now as well, or how it should be. But this when he comes through and you sort of see the, certain people aren't designed for that sort of industry, that's still the same. You still get rock apes that just decide that they're there to fight and stuff, and yeah, that's not on.
Yep. Definitely.
All right, well, gentlemen, should we get into this and talk some Roadhouse?
Let's do it.
Sounds good.
All right. Roadhouse, 1989. Dalton is an expert cooler, a barroom bouncer who can break up fights without getting himself killed in the process. Frank Tillman, the owner of the Double Deuce in Jasper, Missouri, has hired Dalton away from a bar in New York because Tillman needs someone who can handle the nightly outbreaks of violence at the Double Deuce, and teach the rest of the Double Deuce's bouncers how to handle it as well. There's even a cage protecting the bar's band from customers throwing beer bottles at them. The band is led by Dalton's old friend Cody, who is blind but a musical savant. Dalton is injured on his first night on the job and is treated by Elizabeth Doc Clay, the local doctor. Dalton and Doc soon fall in love with each other, and this angers Brad Wesley, a 1980s stereotypical crime boss that Doc was once involved with, and may still be involved with. They don't really explore that part. Anyway, Wesley is also responsible for a lot of violence at the Double Deuce, and for some time, Wesley has had the sheriff in his back pocket, giving him complete control of the town of Jasper. Wesley is out to get rid of Dalton, who's already made some friends in Jasper. Dalton has rented a room from a man named Emmett, as has befriended a local auto parts store owner named Red Webster. He has also befriended Pete Studemeyer, the owner of Studemeyer Ford, a local car dealership. Wesley wants money from the people involved in all of these businesses, otherwise he causes mayhem throughout the town. And finally, in the moment of roadhouseness, after Dalton dispatches all of the villain's henchmen, the villain himself is then shot by everybody in the town because fuck that guy.
Yeah.
And that was 1989's Roadhouse.
Oh, yeah.
And I gotta say, this movie was awesome.
If I had to describe this movie in one word, that word would be escalation.
Yep.
Like, I think back to Anchorman and Brick's quote in that saying there were horses and a man on fire and I stabbed the guy in the heart. And I can just picture Patrick Swayze saying, there were horses and a house on fire and I stabbed a guy in the neck.
I ripped a guy's neck out.
You guys, fucking ripped these guys' neck out.
I do love the homage they paid to the 80s with the Blues Brothers cage for the band at the start as well.
Yeah, that's very true. I actually like that as symbolism that slowly as it goes along it gets pulled down because Dalton's cleaning the place up, which is nice. This movie is so 80s though. It's amazing. But yeah, for wrestling fans out there, the first pop for me in this film, like there's moments I found myself laughing out loud because Patrick Swayze is just like the coolest dude in the room at all times. But Terry Funk turning up as the bouncer that he fires because he can't do this job is great. Terry Funk is amazing in this movie. Like there's a reason that guy once threatened to fight a horse, and you can see because he's just so committed to just being this piece of shit. I love it.
And I love the quote, the fact is, like, what am I meant to do now? There's barber school.
Yeah.
Like, the instant one-liner that gets heat.
Oh, Patrick Swayze in this is just a one-liner machine. It's incredible how, like I say, how cool he is. He really sells the fact he's in control at all times.
He's kind of like Yoda cross Batman.
Yeah.
Love it.
Well, he did study philosophy at university.
Yeah. That's sort of like the Yoda side of him, I guess, and with his philosophy and his temperament, and then sort of towards the end of it where he's like fucking, I don't know, even with his one-liners and the things that he says, like that's Batman, and then like the way he just takes fucking everyone out, I'm like, Batman.
Yep.
Pain don't hurt.
He's hot, yeah, Batman. He's hiding in the he's hiding in that room at the end with all the stuffed animals in it, just lurking around like Batman.
Yeah, so good.
I love the recurring gag with his car, where he's bought the shitty car and it just keeps getting fucked up every night worse. And the stop sign through it is the best one. But
Yeah,
that is so good.
I just thought it was so clever when like you see him and he's putting all these spare tires into the back of his car. I'm like, what the fuck's he doing? And then later on, he walks into his car and it's smashed up and his tires are slashed. And like, oh, that was clever.
And he just smiles at it as well because he's like, yep, I knew that would happen.
It's just like clockwork.
I like the fact too that he's a very flawed character and obviously a very broken character, but he has a very good moral code. So even though when he goes to see that old man and the old man's like, you're trustworthy? Yeah. Why don't I believe you? Like,
or should I believe you?
Or should I believe you? But it's you know he earns that trust constantly. Even the old guy at the auto parts store, where he's like, "Do you want a consistent order? No, I'll pay as I go."
Yeah,
like it's he's very stilted, but at the same time he's always very respectful and very nice to them. And I realize that kindness thing that he talks about in his big speech, where just always be nice.
Yeah,
that's what they call it. Everyone, sir. It's like it doesn't go. It's like an elevator in an outhouse. It just doesn't suit.
I love as well when the first time he goes to the Double Deuce, he's there for that first night and he's just looking around at all the shit that's gone wrong. And because he's not technically employed, he can't do anything yet, but he's just like smirking at everything. And the waitress is trying to hit on him and like he won't even turn around and talk to her. He's just like over his shoulder like, yeah. And then straight back to whatever he's doing. This is really good. Patrick Swayze is really, really good in this film. But Bear, the reason I wanted you to come on and talk about this film is it's your favourite, well, one of your favourite films.
Very much so, yep.
But also, I know as somebody who has done everything in the security business, or the bouncing business, whatever the hell you want to call it, the location conservation business.
Ejection technician.
There you go. What is it about this movie that... Because everybody I know who is a bouncer loves this movie. Yeah. Is it the one-liners? Is it because it's so true to life? What is it?
I think they must have done an awful lot of research to the characters behind, because anyone that's done security for a while would have worked with someone that's the meathead that needs to go because he causes trouble. Would have seen the bar staff that are dealing drugs
and stealing.
They would have seen the security that's dishing off to go bang someone in the toilets. Like all those sort of things happen on a weekly basis. So for anyone that's sort of in the industry or been in the industry for a while, a lot of it just rings true.
Yeah.
Like it's just sort of like, oh yeah, I don't, and you can always match up things to happen. Like they had to play the soft 80s thing, and they had to do the porny bit in there because that's just what I think that's in Patrick Swayze's contract.
Yeah, I think Patrick Swayze does have a contract that says I need to be slow motion and kind of shirtless whilst having a sexy scene with a lady. And I think he also has a rule that his ass must be bare for a certain number of minutes in a film as well. Because, like, the chicks all walk around trying to cover themselves up, and he's just like, nah, I don't even wear underpants under my jeans. That's a good way to, like, snatch your junk and get a Franks and Beans situation happening.
Baltic ball.
Yeah.
Precisely.
But I think it's just because it was fundamentally he was trying to do the right thing. Well, obviously, he followed the dollar wherever he went, but he was earning his money, and
I'd hate to think as well how much money he made because he's getting $500 a night, and he's got to be there for at least 6 months. You got to think.
Oh yeah, he'd be cashed up at the end of it. But his philosophy of the fact of take it outside that rings true now. Like anyone that knows anything about security, you don't want problems inside a venue.
Well, the scene that I love that always makes me think of what you guys do is, I'm sorry, I'll let you get back to your point in a sec, but I really like the part right at the beginning, like the first scene where the guy cuts him with the knife and is like, I want to see how tough you are. And he's like, all right, let's go outside. And walks him out, and then he's like,
see you later.
So that was the best. I love it. It's so fucking, it's such a Yoda. It's like, you're out here. I accomplished what I need. See ya. I don't need to fight now.
But then you see it go to the next level when they walk into the bar and he points out the guy's got the razor or the blade on the front of his shoe. So that's taken from just following them outside to, okay, if we need to do it, we deal with it quickly in the doorway, and then they go outside.
Yep.
The concept's the same. It means, general public's not involved. No one gets hurt that's not involved in the actual issue.
Which makes sense. And is the way that he is, where he's so like I know from reading a lot about crime profilers and detectives and just people who've had a lot of military training, for instance, the way that he scans a room. He'll stand there and he'll scan, he'll look at what's happening. He's registering somebody who's talked to him and everything that's happening, but he's always looking at what everybody's doing, looking for that. Like you can see the moments like the guy that kicks the chick off the chair.
Yep, and the guy gets sent in.
Yeah.
I think that's a lost skill. A lot of the time, especially within that industry now, they've gone to using UHF radios or digital radios, whatever. The art of actually being able to watch what's going on isn't still there. I have it now, like, through the stuff that I've done. If I walk into a room, within being in there for 10 seconds, I can tell you where the exits are. Mm-hmm. I can tell you what the threats in the room are. That's just from years of doing it. A lot of the guys that come through as security now, they just don't get that. They don't understand the fact of being able to read a room. And, if you just position yourself somewhere, stand in a different spot, you may be able to prevent a huge issue.
Yeah. Well, I'm imagining, particularly as a bouncer, and for those of you that have never seen Team Bear, you what, like 6'4"?
6'5".
He's 6'5" and 130?
About 150 kilos.
Jesus.
I'm not a little guy.
He's a big unit of a man, and so I imagine also that there's a lot of power in putting you somewhere like he does, where he positions himself at the bar so everyone can always see him.
Yeah.
There's a lot of power in that, because somebody your size, if you walk in ready, you're like, I'm going to fuck shit up, and no, I'm going to leave. Because you just look at you and be like, that is not worth trying to handle.
It works both ways, unfortunately. You've got half that is exactly like that, and then you've got the other half, as you see through the movie, where it's like, oh, I want to try you.
Actually, it's funny you bring that up, and we'll get more into the movie in a minute, but I figured people at home would probably hear some true stories of bounce. If you liked Roadhouse, you probably want to hear true stories to do with this shit. I remember one time I was filming with Wayne Matty, who is a pro wrestler known as the Maniac, also a bodyguard extraordinaire.
Yep.
We were filming something out the front of the Grand down at Glenelg, so a big nightclub here in South Australia where we're from. And so Wayne is there in his wrestling gear, or his Maniac gear, which is his leather pants and his leather vest, and Wayne is 6'7" in his wrestling gear, and I think he's 180 kilos of muscle or something like that. It's like
he's a big boy.
He's the biggest guy I've ever seen, like legitimately in life. And this guy comes strolling out of the pub, pissed as a maggot, who's maybe 5'9" and 70 kilos soaking wet if he's lucky. Whips off the shirt, comes charging straight up to Maniac and is like, "You want to go?" And I'm watching this and I'm like, this guy's about to fucking die. And Wayne, being like literally just bodyguard mode, he just stiffens straight up. He's like, "Mate, you need to leave now. This isn't a fight you want to do. Trust me, go away. I'm too busy for this." So the guy circles around the hotel, comes back, and Wayne's like, "I'm not going to tell you again. I'm not going to deal with you, but there are bouncers here who will, and they're my friends. So just go home."
Yep.
And the guy didn't come back.
And that's a normal thing. Like, it's the fact of being, you've got people that'll be shit scared, and then you've got people that want to try you.
Yeah.
The concept's the same. Unfortunately, I've never heard the "I thought you'd be bigger" line, because that's just not going to happen.
Yeah.
But the rest of it is very much Holmes true. See,
because I know I've always found I'm not somebody who goes in to test people because I'm going to lose 9 times out of 10. 99 times out of 10. But I've always been very I try to live my philosophy that kill them with kindness, like Braden talked about, kind of way. So even the times where I've been at pubs and I've probably been past the point where I should have been ejected, and I'm just fucking around with my friends, and you jump on each other and you're dicking around, you're making noise. Whenever the bouncers come over, I'm just like, "Oh, sorry, we're making too much noise." I'm like, "Yeah, just keep it down, you're all good." And as long as I've never been kicked out of anywhere, even when I've been at my rowdiest, because whenever they come around, I'm like, "Oh, am I doing something wrong? I apologise. What can I do?"
Yep.
And you can tell I'm not a threat. What am I going to do? Yell too loud?
Yeah, I mean, I was lucky. Like, I worked with some really, really smart people, and so I learnt bits and pieces from them of how to do it. And even when I moved to Adelaide, and I was looking after the security of the Dog and Duck, which is a nightclub here on Hindley Street.
Yep.
And we had the philosophy was that we didn't have problems inside. We were very strict on the door, very strict on dress code, very strict on behaviour, but we would go months without having a fight inside.
That's excellent.
Yeah. We'd have issues out the front, and we'd have the police there, and because we just wouldn't let the trouble inside. And so it just made for a great clubbing experience for people that went out.
And is that the parts of these films that have to do with, and then we'll get into the story in a minute, but the parts of these films that have to do with the bouncing, like, say, where there's shit going down and he's sending them in, like they kind of work as a unit together. Is that something you guys train and work on, or?
Attempt to. It obviously depends on the sort of place, but yeah, in a layout with a venue like that, you would have 10 guards, you would have a couple of guards that would go in there first. Now obviously there's a lot more technology involved, so guards wear stuff like GoPros or body cameras and that sort of stuff.
That's more for legal reasons.
Yeah, that's just sort of, as it's rolled through the years. But yeah, any good security know how to work as a team, and you're always watching to see, if someone's not where they're meant to be, something's gone wrong.
Yeah.
So
so Braden, let's get into what you thought about this film. Since you're the noob, obviously, I figure you and T-Bear can go at each other here at asking, what the fuck did I just watch? What did you think of this initial part where not only does he get stabbed and stitch himself up, but then he immediately quits his old job, takes this new job, arrives at this at the Double Deuce, and everybody's just useless.
Yeah, look, to begin with, I was really having a hard time working out what this movie was about because, like I said, I've never heard of it, had no idea what it was. We've just in a club, Patrick Swayze's there, just being all chill, and then this guy comes and says, "I want to hire you to turn my club around." I'm like, okay, is that what he's doing? He turns clubs around or something? Like this? Is that what the aim of the story is, or what? And then of course, he got to this other place, and it was just. I don't even know.
Was it Mo? Was it like what happens when you go on a Saturday night in Mo, where you're from?
I had many worse Saturday nights out in Adelaide, thank you. I was not able to kill people with kindness. So yeah, I don't know. It was just sort of mental. And then from there, when I said before about escalation, I was like, it really fucking was, because the whole thing started with he fired the bartender, and the bartender's uncle got pissed off about it, and it ended up leading to people fucking dying and shit and getting blown up.
As it does.
The 80s. Brad,
it is 80s.
Do you know what the correct term is? You said escalation. The correct term is cocaine.
Okay. But yeah, it just went so far, but they did it really well.
Yeah. Well, that guy's a scumbag without being overt. Like, even where you see he's beat up his missus,
yeah,
they don't really call, like, they show it to her and she's hiding it, but nobody directly says he's done it. They don't overly call attention to it.
It just sort of made you think, wow, this guy's a fucking asshole even more. Just everything that dude did.
Oh yeah, that guy was a turd monster.
He was
Absolute turd monster.
But the thing is, every scene you watch, you almost know what's going to happen. Like when they're up in the office and you see that big window and you know someone's going through it. And you're just waiting and you're waiting, and then all of a sudden...
As soon as he pulled out the knife, I'm like, that dude is eating that window. Without question. I think I even said that out loud then. I'm like, this dude's going through that window. And then it happened, I'm like, yes! I love too the fact that this movie really, if you don't know how to fight, this movie teaches you everything you need to know. Kick them in the knee, no matter how big they are, they will go down.
Yeah.
And that is 100% true. If you kick somebody in the knee...
Yeah, aim for knee and aim for balls. The two things they always went for.
Yep. It's the same, it's the same way in wrestling TV. You can see it if... I can now tell if somebody's got mad at somebody else in the ring if they stomp on the knee. That's the tell of like, oh, you did something wrong there because this dude just took it up a level. But yeah, so obviously Patrick Swayze gets the double, or what's his name? James Dalton gets to the double D. Hey, I just worked out that pun. No, gets to the double D, and everything's kind of going smoothly, and then, as I say, he has his first real night on the job, gets his new car, and then they slash the tires and they break the windshield and they take the aerial off. And then I like the fact he has to go to the auto store and meet Red for the first time, and you see their relationship, and you start it. The slow build of their friendship is what I like, because they're not just buddies right off the bat. There's a real kind of, each time he's coming in, you can see he's getting more and more friendly, and I like the fact it's not just the first time he comes in to see Red, he buys the antenna, and it's the same time that what's the dickhead evil dude's name in this?
Brad Wesley.
That's it. It's the same. It's the first time that Wesley comes in with his goons, and you get the feeling he's about to intimidate it. But this movie does a great job of, it's like you said, you know what's going to happen when you're sitting there. You're like, oh, it's this scene, and then they cut away, and you don't need to see it because it's like, well,
you already know
that scene. Yeah. Although with that said, I have read this movie was originally 2.5 hours long, so I imagine all those scenes were probably in it.
Yeah, I feel like it did need to be a little bit longer. I had a bit of a hard time. I did keep asking myself the question, what sort of time, like how long is this set over? Because like you said sort of earlier, you reckon about 6 months.
I reckon it's 6 months, just by the fact because they end up getting uniforms and things like that.
Yeah, like I was watching, I think there was at one point, the first thing you see is they've taken the cage off the stage, and then, they do up the outside, and you see them sort of do it in dribs and drabs and things like that. But then, like, you've seen him do heaps of stuff to the bar, and then I remember there was a scene after that where he still had the big bandage on his side, like it hadn't even been changed. It was, and then sort of closer towards the end of the movie, he still had the bandage on, but it was a much smaller one, obviously. And
that's
I was
actually
like,
true, because even though it's a knife wound, I mean, I've had a pretty big incision that was put together with staples.
Yeah.
And I think that was in there for about, I think I had them in for 16 days, and then by then the skin had started growing over them. So if it is 6 months, pain is just a state of mind though, and pain doesn't hurt.
Pain don't hurt.
So it's entirely possible that maybe he's keeping them there as a reminder.
He just wants an excuse to go see the doctor. I would.
That's true. You could have had a point there, Braden. I didn't think about that.
Yeah, I was just sort of didn't really know if this was set over like a couple of weeks or a few months, or it was just very skippy. Like some things seem to take a long time and some things just happen like that.
I would actually like to see the full cut, because stuff with they use the monster truck over the car yard. The car yard's just appeared out of nowhere. Yeah. So it would have actually good to see a bit of background on the fact of who these people were.
Yeah, that guy never sort of turned up until, what's his name, Red? Was it Red? His place got burnt down.
Yeah.
He was like, oh, you've betrayed me. And I'm like, are you talking about him betraying you because he was siding with him? And how did you know he sided with him?
Yeah, and it would have made a lot more sense too at the end if you'd seen more of what Wesley was doing to the townsfolk while they all shoot the shit out of him at the end. God,
well, I could actually, no, those three, you could understand. Like, he blew up one dude's house, blew up one dude's business, and went over the other one with a monster truck.
That's true. I do like that.
In that he got rich off all of them, like, so he's obviously been fucking with them for a long time.
That's true, and I like the escalation that you talked about. Like, it's the first time you see this piece of shit, he flies over with his helicopter to piss off the horses. The next time you see him, he's just cruising across the road, like we saw at the start of the show, where he's just booting from one side to the other, and Patrick Swayze nearly dies because he won't move. Because he's a billionaire, he's used to everybody having to get... I like the symbolism there of this guy doesn't move for everybody moves for him.
That's right.
Is amazing. Like, even the sheriff, you talk about I imagine in the longer cut you would have seen shit between that guy and the sheriff, because when the sheriff shows up at the end, the feeling I got was he was like, well, I can work out what happened here, but the guy's dead, so... I don't really care. Yeah, it's like if somebody just gives me an excuse, I'll be happy to write the report.
A polar bear fell on me. That's still...
Swayze's covered in blood, but if you also didn't see it, then...
Yeah, exactly, yeah. Well, he's got 4 different kinds of rifle and shotgun wounds, and you all own those exact types of weapons, but I guess it was a blending incident.
4 gunshots and through a table. The table, you knew it was happening. You saw the glass top table.
That's true. I
you knew someone was landing on it.
I thought we were going to get the headshot and he was going to get the big uppercut through the table, but the chest shot is still as good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's actually, I also really like the fact that this is one of the films that seems to do blood right, in that dudes get hit over the head with bottles and they start bleeding, and like the first bar fight, there's chicks that are bleeding. There's a dude punches a woman in the face. That thing is incredible. That fight, I'm sitting there, I'm like, man, the fights in this are so well choreographed. Braden, here's a bit of trivia for you. Sam Elliott, who played Wade Garrett, said all the actors did their own stunts in this film, right?
Oh.
Patrick Swayze... Oh, excuse me. 1 second. And cut. Patrick Swayze famously said that he didn't think he'd make it out of this film alive because of the amount of punishment they were putting each other through. And his kickboxing coach who trained him for this film said by the time this film ended, Patrick Swayze was ready to go pro.
Wow. That's full on.
This movie is pretty intense. But I think we throw it to an ad right now, and then we'll come back and we'll do a complete breakdown of this thing.
Hey Bat fans, it's the Dad Knight here coming to you from the Batcave. Coming soon will be new and improved episodes of From the Batcave featuring the other members of the Just Us League, Red Thunder, The Probe, LL Cool Elder, and myself, as we bring you weekly video casts featuring DC on TV shows such as Arrow, The Flash, Supergirl, and Legends of Tomorrow, plus all the latest comic book movies and much, much more. Head to www.frombatcave.com for all the info and links to our episodes. That's www.frombatcave.com. Hope to see you there, Bat fans.
Alrighty. So yeah, when we left off, Dalton had just arrived in and was checking the Double D out. He manages to take up lodging in the top of a barn, which is just exquisitely furnished, isn't it?
It is, with no conditioned air, but everything else is just immaculate.
Yeah, but he's got a big fireplace.
Yeah, this is true.
And he's got that big window, so if it does get hot, he can just bust that thing. I said to T-Bear while watching this, I'm not quite sure how he closed that window, but then they climbed out to have sex, and I'm like, oh, you just walk out and close it. That makes sense. So yeah, as you say, Braden, the first point of escalation is he clears all the dead weight out of the bar altogether. And I like the fact that that's the catalyst for what pisses people off.
Yep.
Is that he comes in and he rocks the boat and the establishment, but that's what the owner asked him to do. I really like the fact that the bar owner never actually turns his back on Dalton.
Yep.
Which in most 80s films, normally if the villain puts that much pressure on the club owner, they'll normally crack a little bit to put some tension in there, but he never does.
Yep, 100%.
I think he knew what he was getting himself into when he did what he did. He just wasn't the man to do what needed to be done.
That's true. And so then there's a knife fight, as we talked about, where the bartender gets upset and comes back demanding his job, and guys go through pane windows, and Dalton has to go to the hospital where he meets Doc, and thankfully he's got his medical records with him at all times. Is that something you have to do as a bouncer?
I can say I've never carried medical records with me. I know most of the injuries, but yeah, never to a portfolio standard like he did.
I think we're gonna have to take a sideways step here. Give us a list of the injuries.
Oh shit. Broken coccyx.
Got dropped on your ass?
Over or? Yeah, got knocked over, went into the back of the thing onto the edge of a brick thing and pole.
Oh.
A few shiners and stuff like that. Busted fingers a couple of times. Busted eye socket. Busted side of the jaw joint.
Just from king hits or?
Yeah. What else was there? Lots of concussions and stuff like that. But had people come with poles and chairs and firearms and all that sort of stuff. And
did you ever get to put a guy's face through a table? Like,
not as exquisite as what's done in that movie.
That is one of the greatest things in film I've ever seen, where that guy has just been an absolute shithead and he just grabs and just goes, boom, straight through the table. It's like, get him out.
Yeah, table breaks and he gets dragged straight out. That's just,
that's
a perfect world move.
And then he just helps the lady down and like, go away.
Yeah, that encapsulates how he does the role. His role as a cooler is exactly like that. He only steps in when he has to, but when he does, it's necessary.
Yeah, and it's brutal normally too. I like that whole thing that from the start you get told that Dalton is the toughest guy of all time, and then when you see him do shit like that, you're like, God damn, I can see why people are like, I thought you were bigger. Because if you tell that story of, I saw a dude put another dude's face through a table and the table just shattered in half, you would be like, that must be a big guy.
But the thing that's always got me with him is the fact he's always been humble. When anyone says that, oh, you're the best, well, no, Wade Garrett's the best.
Yeah.
He's, the guy that taught him the ropes. He always still years on shows the respect, which obviously comes through later in the movie. But
absolutely. We're nearly there. The part we're at is where obviously Wesley is trying to extort, I should say, the club owner for his money. So he demands a meeting with Dalton,
Yep.
in which we get the piece of news that Dalton has been on trial for killing a man in the past. And I really like that scene where Wesley's eating his eggs at the dinner table.
Yep.
And Patrick Swayze does that full walk around the table, and the camera changes focus as they go. It's just a really nice looking shot.
Yep.
And as I say, when he gets to the house, he sees that Wesley's missus has got the busted lip and the black eye. And I like the fact he takes note of it, and you can see on his face that he registers it, but
Yep.
he doesn't. It's not his fight at that point, and there's no point fighting at that point. But he doesn't brush it off. You can see that he's like, this isn't cool.
Yep.
Yeah, I think that's probably part of what sort of built up to him sort of, I guess, losing his cool at the end.
Yeah.
That much of a piece of shit.
I like as well where Wesley asks how much it's going to cost to buy him. He's like, there ain't enough money.
Yeah.
But you could sort of see where he brought up the fact of being up on the charges before. You could see see Dalton's character. It's just like automatically he's just turned.
Yeah.
Like you could see in his face, he's just like, I don't like this guy. And now I really don't like this guy.
Absolutely. I got the feeling it was almost like you could see the switch went off in his head where he's like, this motherfucker's going to try to blackmail me now.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly what it was. He's like, nah, you can't blackmail me.
Yeah, that's why he's like, I like the fact he's like, you can't, nothing will ever make me work for you. I also like the reaction of Wesley. The guy who plays Wesley plays a Bond villain amazingly well in this film.
Yeah.
But his reaction to being told no is so perfect, I think, because that dude's never been told no.
Yeah. He's just like, all right, well, I guess I'm just going to start fucking shit up.
Yeah, and that's what he does. So from there, we then find that the liquor delivery is getting smashed up by Terry Funk and the other goons. Oh, sorry, I missed a slight part about the goons. I like the fact that he beats the shit out of that one goon who fails him, and then he's like, it's okay, I forgive you. Like, I like you, so it's okay. Then knocks him the fuck out and makes him drag him away anyway. Like, what a dickhead. But anyway, yeah, so Terry Funk and the goons are breaking up all the liquor and shit, so Dalton tries to go, like, 4-on-1. And he's holding his own till that big guy comes in.
Yep.
And that's when our man, who he's phoned it, we've had a glimpse of earlier back in his own bar, but the legendary Wade Garrett rolls into town on his motorbike. And everything about this guy, like, you look at this guy and just like, this dude is hard ass.
I
love
love when he walks in the bar and he's like, is there a skinny little runt named Dalton?
Yeah.
And you just see everybody's face change. And it's like they straight away click to who it is. Like, no one else would have the balls to say something like that.
Yeah.
Right. But even when he goes out, when they go out the back and where it's to the, like, he still doesn't jump in straight away.
No, he's standing there watching it. He's like, all right, maybe this is earned. What's going on? It's not till that big guy's like, you want to fight, old man? And he's like, if you want to.
Yeah.
Straight in the nuts. Straight in the knees.
So it's a part of the job. So he's like, oh, he's working.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He punches Terry Funk the fuck out as well, which is great. I love too, like you talk about Braden, that Dalton is Batman in that he's even like, I had it handled.
Yeah. Yeah. Didn't need you.
As Batman would always like, I didn't need your help, I had it handled. There was 6 guys beating on you. I would have taken him in the end. I love too that Patrick Swayze has just had Terry Funk just unloading on his gut. And he's just laughing and hugging. He's just like, I don't give a shit. Like, that's how much this guy gets beaten up.
Pain don't hurt.
Was this... Like, what year did you start bouncing TV?
Unofficially 95.
Okay.
So
was it violent like this, or had that gone out of... like? Because I'm guessing the 80s were this level of violence.
Yeah, the 80s were a lot worse. I come in probably in the end of the Rock Ape stage.
Yep.
And more of the training away from it.
Wep.
So I was lucky. I still had a couple of guys that, were really experienced, had been around the traps. So they sort of took me under their wingers when I got my license in 98. And they took me under their wing, and it was I was just a sponge off them. And just sort of listened and learned everything of what to do and what not to do. And then I took that on further to working with the immigration department and stuff. So, there's anything that's physical like that, the rules are always the same. And the fact of, like, even when you see where he's gone as hard as he did, most of the time he wouldn't have to do anything after that. Because people see him and then it's, oh shit, he can handle himself.
I've never messed with that guy, yeah. So... we obviously see immediately the friendship that Wade Garrett and Dalton have, and Dalton's like, come on, I want you to go. I want you to meet my missus. That's why I think it's gone on for a while, because they're like properly at the, like, she's letting him drive her car sort of thing. That's you got to have some trust there for that.
Yeah.
But anyway, I love the way Wade Garrett is with Doc too, where you can see that this is where Patrick Swayze's learned it all, because he's just the exact same way.
Yeah, very much so.
What did you think of Wade Garrett, bro?
Well, I loved Wade Garrett. He was probably my favorite character, I reckon, in this. I didn't like how we didn't get to see him exactly die. I would have liked to have seen him go with an awesome fight.
I think though because did you think like me, the minute he found Doc alive, I'm like, oh, he's going back to the bar and Wade's dead?
Yeah, pretty much.
Because I don't think the writers intended. I think the writers intended when he came staggering in to make you think, oh no, she's the one that's going to die, and then everything was. I think they thought that was going to be the big twist, was that you get back there and you think he'd just be okay because everything's cool. It's all wrapping up. It's the 80s.
Yeah. No, he's dead. No, I don't know. I would have liked to have seen a bit more around that. Yeah, his character is awesome, and the guy who plays him, I was a bit what's his name? Sam Elliott.
Yep.
He's in another series that I'm watching at the moment on Netflix called what's it called? The Ranch.
Yep.
So yeah, I instantly recognised him from that, and he's almost the same character. He's just a massive smart ass.
Yep.
I think he only plays that character. I think that he's just Sam Elliott. Sam Elliott just walks into set and it's just like,
he just gets to play himself.
Yeah. I'm going to ad-lib this entire movie.
So, yeah, I don't know. I just love his character. He's just a smart ass, and he's very much similar to Dalton in a way that he's so easygoing and everything like that. But I think he's a lot more sort of mellow than what Dalton is.
Yeah,
I'll sleep when I die.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, if it comes tomorrow, it comes tomorrow. I don't really care.
I gotta admit, the second he said, Doc, I'll sleep when I'm dead, I'm like, he's dead.
Yeah.
The same way the second that Dalton sleeps with Doc and Wesley's watching it, I'm like, I think I turned to T-Brown, I'm like, something like that old man is dead or something bad has happened to this family. This sex scene is too intensely long in this film where nobody gets anything nice to happen to them for this not to pay off badly.
Oh yeah, I knew someone was going to die. I kept thinking like, who's going to be the one who dies?
Yeah. It's a fucked up way to do it though, to flip the coin and be like, I wish I could tell you the answer.
Yeah. I sort of, because he really did lose control towards the end there. So like when he was on the phone to him, I was just thinking like, at this point, this guy who, if he was still in his right frame of mind, would be just hanging up the phone right now.
Yeah. Oh, but, yeah. They both really go mental at the end of this. This is just two guys, just brains are going out the window. And I think it's, as I say, it's because the feeling I get is the villain in this is meant to be that narcissistic sociopath who only cares about himself. So when somebody says no, that pisses him off to such a degree that he just goes even crazier and does everything he can to hurt Dalton.
Yeah.
And because he can get away with it's that thing of I have unlimited money and unlimited power, I can get away with anything. So fuck it, I'll hurt you as bad as I can. He even says it to Doc where he's like, I'll kill him tomorrow and I won't even feel a thing about it.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
So anyway, one evening, the local business owner, Red Webster's auto parts store is destroyed in a fire. And what a fire. This building explodes like 4 times.
Yeah. Really does.
You're like, bang, wow, that was pretty big. Bang, wow. And then the whole thing goes. There's an ambulance that drives past at one point, and I honestly think it's going as fast as it is because the dude driving it is like, fuck this shit, I quit.
He just kept going.
Yeah, he's just, because it goes, man. It's just like, woo, I'm just out of here. He's like, you're not paying me enough to blow me up. Fuck this. If Patrick Swayze's afraid of dying, what are they going to do to the extra driving the ambulance? I'm out of here. So anyway, Dalton refuses to give in to anything that Wesley demands along the way, even letting his guys into the club. And there's an epic scene where, because the bouncers now work as a unit, they drag these 4 dudes, the guy that T-Bear was talking about earlier that had the switchblade hidden in his shoe. They drag him outside and just level him. And the part that got the highlight of the night for me, the biggest laugh I think I got in this film is the final breaks down and everybody's like, get it out of there. And some guys just going in is like, woo, great fat.
Yeah. Yeah, that was awesome.
That was amazing. So the next day, car dealership owner Peter Studemeyer becomes the next victim of Wesley's gang when he refuses to pay the dues that are owed, and Wesley's thugs drive through his car dealership with a monster truck.
Is that what happened? He refused to pay his dues?
Yeah, basically what it was because they had that meeting. Remember, they all have the meeting after the red store burns down.
Yeah, and he was saying, like, I didn't think you would turn on me or something. And I was like, what did he turn on me?
Because what they're basically saying that night when their meeting is, when Red's saying he's going to leave, is none of us are going to do anything or pay anymore.
Oh, okay, I must have missed that.
It was basically, the implication was, we'll call the FBI, they'll do everything bar take the stand and testify because that'll get him killed.
Yeah.
But it's basically the standpoint of, I refuse to do anything with you. I think it's probably more implicit in the 2.5 hour version. But yeah, he stops paying the money, so that's why they tear the place up.
Yeah.
I imagine that the feeling I got was that the scene probably before explains what Patrick Swayze was doing driving around, because he's suddenly just there and the other bouncer guy is like, you want to come see this? Wesley's getting fixed to buy a new car.
Yeah.
I want a monster truck. Back then I wanted a monster truck, and I watch it now and I still want a monster truck.
You had a
How
Hummer.
much fun would that be?
You had a Hummer at one point, didn't you?
I did. Yeah, I had a big orange one, but not quite as big as being able to drive over people.
That's true, the old Stone Cold monster truck.
Yep.
So yeah, we then move on to Doc visiting Dalton and attempting to persuade him to leave, and that's when Emmett's house blows up next. And as the Jimmy, the dipshit that blew it up with his shitty earring, is driving away, Dalton does the greatest moment in this film and spear tackles him off a fucking motorbike.
Yes.
That bump was awesome. And he's not wearing a helmet either. I'm like, whoever took that move is a fucking madman.
It's worth referencing here that Adam, as soon as that bike was seen, he's like, this movie gets a 10 if he spears him off the thing.
Yep.
And he's watching in bated breath as Swayze hits the air and clears him straight off the bike.
10 out of 10. This movie is excellent. It has everything. This literally, as we'll get to in the end when we recap, this is the greatest 80s film of all time. This is the 80s. Wayne from the Batcave would hate this film.
Yeah. This is, the epitome of the 80s.
Anyway, Jimmy and Dalton have an epic fight. This fight, the choreography in this is amazing because it feels like these two are just legitimately trying to beat the shit out of each other.
Yep.
And then he rips his throat out.
And how good is that move?
Wow, I did not see that coming, because they were talking about earlier how he'd obviously killed someone in some other state somewhere because he pulled a gun on him, and he was talking about, how you react when you...
Yeah, a guy pulls a gun on you, you either die or you kill him.
Yeah, and then he pulls a gun on him, he kicks the gun out of his hand. I'm like, oh, he's not going to kill him, he's going to do something else to sort of overcome, I guess, that fear, and then, nope, just fucking rips his neck out.
And it's amazing, too.
Oh!
And lets him float.
Yeah.
And then...
Fuck you, Wesley! And throws him in the river.
Just lets him float across. Like,
yeah.
Wow.
Unfortunately, that showed the crazy side. That's the bit that got Doc offside, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I mean, it's... I kind of get it and I kind of don't, because maybe she didn't see the gun in his face, but, like, Braden, you're married, as we know from the last episode. If your wife saw a guy pull a gun on you and you rip his throat out, I don't think she'd be like, I don't know who you are anymore. I think she'd be like, holy shit, that guy was going to kill you. And then also, holy shit, you just ripped a fucking guy's throat out.
Yeah. I'd probably put it, if you put it in the context of, she's known this guy for maybe 2 months, know that he's had a violent history, and then he just ripped a guy's throat out.
Yeah, I guess also the medical profession of do no harm, and this guy's just necked a dude, like, instant death. Mind you, though, in fairness, Jimmy kind of deserved it.
Oh, he fucking deserved it, yeah.
Everyone who dies in this film deserves it.
I raped guys like you in prison.
Yeah, as I'm watching this, T-Bear was telling me a lot of the lines that are in this film actually work when you're bouncing. That apparently is one of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's one of those lines when you're holding someone waiting for the police to come and they're still kicking up. Being a big guy and using my size, whispering in their ear that I used to fuck guys like you in prison. That kind of stirs people up a little bit.
Oh yeah, I can imagine.
What?
Hang on, no, that wasn't the best one though. The quote from the movie that I used to use all the time was "Keep your pets on a leash."
Yeah, I know. We're nearly there. I knew we were getting to that. So when we get to that scene, I'm gonna get into that. I want to know what reaction that gets in real life. We're nearly. I know. Yeah, we're past that, aren't we?
We are
We're
past that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
past
It's
that.
not in the recap that I've got here. Fuck you, Wikipedia. So yeah, there is a scene where Wesley brings his boys and his missus to the Double D, and she starts dancing on stage and stripping, and so
Direct after Red's shop
yeah.
got blown up.
Yeah, so after when the shop blew
That's
up,
right, they
they come back in and he was in there, and so he's told his missus or whatever she was to dance.
Yeah.
And so she's gone and started feeling up the musician and dancing and stripping and whatever, and yeah, Dalton's taken her off the stage and handed her back and handed with a "Keep your pets on a leash." Now I've used that line probably 100 times over 20 years, and every time it gets a desired reaction.
which is
People lose their shit.
I can imagine that.
I used to play basketball competitively, and we were playing one night, and one of the guys' missus was an absolute douchebag, and so I politely told him that he should keep his pets on his leash, and that turned into an all-in brawl.
Nice.
It's just one of those lines that if you use, you know that you're going to have repercussions to it.
Yeah.
Like, so much fun. So much younger when pain didn't hurt as much.
Pain don't hurt.
When pain-
So anyway, as I say, Doc doesn't want to talk to Dalton because he ripped out a man's throat. As Braden says, that's probably not surprising that you wouldn't want to talk to somebody to do that. Anyway, the next day, as you say, Braden, maybe this does take place over like 5 days, which is exceptionally quick for the renovations that happen.
Yeah, I know. They're really efficient.
Yeah, Dalton is I can see why they want this guy. He's like $500 a day. I have to pay like $2,000. You'll fix my place up and leave. Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, the next day, Dalton returns to the Double Deuce, but he's decided he's going to leave because fuck this noise. And the phone's ringing, and that's where Wesley's like, it's either Wade or Doc, make a choice. And Dalton won't, so the coin is flipped, and Wesley hangs up the phone, and that's when Wade comes stumbling in all fucked up, so we're led to believe Doc's going to be dead. And I love the fact they even go that little step further where he gets to the hospital and has to ask where she is, and they're like, oh, she's in X-ray, and the implication is she's by herself, so you're like, oh no, he's about to walk into the death scene. And she's just sitting there.
They wouldn't leave with him. No,
Yeah.
I don't want to talk to you. Leave me alone.
Yeah, that's true. So he comes back to the bar and is like, fuck it, let's get out of here. Sam Waterston. Not Sam Waterston. Let's get out of here, Sam Elliott. Sam Waterston was on LA Law, wasn't he? Anyway, doesn't matter.
With wake up, he wouldn't wake up.
Yeah, because he had a knife lodged in him. I don't get why he pulls the knife out, except for the fact that it's needed later in the film, but at the same time, that dude could have just had a knife on his belt. Why did he pull the knife out?
Yeah, I sort of felt like he was the way, because he really sort of hesitated to take it. I think he was it was like to sort of show you what he was thinking in his mind, like, do I go down this route or do I not?
Oh, I see. If I pull this knife out, it's over.
He's like, yeah, and then when he took the knife, you're like, nah, he's going for blood.
I get you. That's okay. Nice then, Brian. I'm enjoying it. So anyway, we then head to the scene where Terry Funk and the Henchmen are... Terry Funk needs to start a band now called Terry Funk and the Henchmen. Terry Funk and his henchmen are hanging out at the front, and Dalton's Mercedes comes speeding towards them, and because the windows were tinted matte black, I'm like, there's nobody in that car. But they shoot the shit out of it anyway. Oh, speaking of cars, I like that the car that he buys at the beginning has the headlight covers, so the one thing he doesn't have to replace in the car is the headlights.
Yeah, that was cool.
But yeah, so they shoot the shit out the car, as I say, and then find that the knife that was used to kill Wade is what's been holding the accelerator in, and Wanker puts it back in his belt, which lets all of us at home know
That's how he's going to die.
and also that that's the guy that killed him.
Yeah.
So we're happy when he dies.
Yeah.
And so yeah, the big fight begins, and Dalton basically Batmans his way through this place, taking dudes out, knocks out the big fat guy with a polar bear. And then in the final moments of this scene, or of the big climax of the movie, Wesley goes to kill Dalton with a gun after fighting with him for a while, and you think that Dalton is going to rip out Wesley's throat, and instead he has that moment of calmness where he's like, "Nah, I'm Batman, I don't kill." So he walks away, and that's when Wesley picks up a gun to shoot him, and he gets shot once, and it's revealed that it's Red that shot him, and then he gets shot again, and it's revealed that Emmett shot him, and then he gets shot again, and it's Stoudemire that shot him, and he gets shot by somebody else, and he gets shot by 4 people. Oh, the guy that owns the bar is the one that delivers the killing blow to him, and Wesley crashes through the table, and they hide all the guns. And the fat guy wakes up from underneath his polar bear. And as I say, the sheriff comes in and is like, well... And the look on his face when he looks at him is this look of like... Finally.
Yeah.
And yeah, so the sheriff's like, well, if nobody knows what happened here, I guess the guy fell.
And that's where I love where they ask each other, and then they ask the dude under the bear, and he's just like, a polar bear fell on me.
Yeah.
And that's it. Like, there's just no other line to him. It's just that, yeah, I was taken out by a stuffed bear.
That guy sucked.
Yeah. I wanted him to die so badly, and he didn't.
He was the only one that fucking didn't.
And then in the final scene, Dalton and Doc are swimming with each other, and we get the feeling that Dalton is going to stay there for good.
Yeah, there's always a soppy bit that ruins a good 80s movie. That's pretty much it.
Exactly. Well, let's throw to another ad here, and then we'll come back and we'll give our final thoughts on the whole matter.
Hey you.
Avid podcast listener, do you like pop culture?
Of course you do.
That's why you're listening to this fine Cabana product.
If you want to hear 3 grown gentlemen discuss the finer things in pop culture,
Tune in to the Karma Iguana podcast. Find us on iTunes and all fine purveyors of podcastery.
We can't promise that we're the most informed podcasts,
but at least we're a podcast.
Well,
so at least we try to be funny.
Well,
sometimes.
Alright, well yeah, as I say, of course, don't forget to check out the Karma Iguana. I'm sure they also fans of Roadhouse. If I know anything about Wilson, he definitely is. But this film, Braden, as I said a little bit earlier, to me, if you ever want to explain to somebody what an 80s film is, you hand them this. This has everything the 80s needs for a film.
No doubt. Explosions, mullets, and...
The mullet is amazing. Hot chicks bearing their titties for no reason. An evil Bond villain who is just spastically overly evil, considering it's just, I live in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah. And you kind of, like, annoyed me a bit, so yeah. I'm just going to kill everybody.
I'm just going to blow up some shit. Which also doesn't make sense, because the amount of destruction that he's causing, how are they going to pay the 10% if all their businesses are broken down?
Yeah, it doesn't. Isn't that the way that like people who run protection work? If you don't pay up, they smash up your shit anyway and still expect the money.
That's true. Yeah, okay.
Not reasonable people.
I'm lucky enough to have never had somebody out to break my legs to want to smash up my shit. So.
But you need caps.
Well, not recently.
No.
So yeah, Braden, what did you think of Roadhouse?
Yeah, I really enjoyed the movie as a whole. Like I sort of said earlier, I didn't really know what was going on at the start. It really did pick up. My sort of main gripes that I had with it was sort of, trying to work out what sort of timeline this was trying to stick to. I couldn't work that out, and that confused me. And I guess the other one too was I don't really feel like Dalton grew as a character. I kind of feel like maybe he went backwards.
No, because he doesn't kill the guy at the end. That's the growth.
Well, I suppose, but he killed a lot of people before that. Because it sort of seemed like he was, he'd killed someone in the past, and that was sort of something that he was trying to run from, kind of, in a way. And then he rips a guy's throat out, and then he just goes and just fucking kills everyone. So the way I kept sort of thinking as this goes on, I'm like, oh, how's he going to end this? How's he going to end this? How's he going to end this? Like, he's got to come up with some real cool fucking plan to end this. And he just kills everybody.
See, if this had been real life, the way I thought this was going down was because I'm watching it. This felt to me like one of those situations where it's like it's coming down to they're both going to kill each other.
Yeah.
Like, I honestly thought this was going to end with both dudes taking each other out, and you're like, all right. I don't think I would have even been upset if they'd have both gone down on each, like killing each other. And if they'd gone down to each other, that would have been a very different film. They'd have both gone down killing each other, but Dalton had the last moment of like, bang, I got you, and then dies as he's going. That would have been kind of cool. But the ending still works. It's an 80s film. You have to have an happy ending.
Still works. It still worked. Like I still really enjoyed it. I just didn't really feel like he had a whole lot of growth.
This to me though, Brandon, have you seen Beverly Hills Cop 2?
I think so.
Because Beverly Hills Cop, both 1 and 2, but the first two Beverly Hills Cops have that fight that takes place inside a house, and Axel Foley just mows people down for it's overkill how much he's mowing people down, particularly in the second one. First one it makes sense because they kept killing all of his friends and shit, but it feels like that's what this felt like to me, where it's like, man, this guy, and I don't know if it was just meant to be that he was on a blind bloodlust rage or something, but yeah, you're right, he just kills everyone in like this 4-minute window. After being the whole you never. I guess that's the thing. What's the line, T-Bed? Don't get angry until it's.
I'll be nice until the time comes to not be nice.
Which you have tattooed on you, do you?
I do. That's how big a fan I am. I actually have that quote down the inside of my arm. So it was
which I suppose that makes sense as well, because that really fits with the way the movie sort of ended. Maybe if they tried to highlight that a little bit more to say, hey, this is where we're going with this.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think the longer film of this, the 2.5-hour version, must be great because it would have so much more.
Yeah, it just feels like it's missing minor things
that would make it an amazing, a 12 out of 10 movie. Because it had to do Spear-Tackler guy off a bike, so it's already 10 out of 10.
Yeah.
I'm just glad the reboot's actually put to the side. Originally last year or the year before, there was talk of a full reboot, and it was going to have Ronda Rousey from the UFC was going to play Dalton. So how that was going to work is beyond me. And then she ended up losing. So
what was that, bro?
This needs to stay an 80s movie.
Agreed.
Yeah. The only guy now that you could get close to doing a movie like this with is The Rock, because he is basically an 80s action star.
Yeah.
But even then, you've got The Rock doing Baywatch, and so he has to camp it all up.
That's true.
He wouldn't be able to do it as not that it's really a serious movie, but as a
That's what's amazing about this is it is serious, but it's so fucking funny.
Yeah.
It is so amazingly funny.
So it's that great cheese. It's that, you could just lose yourself in the movie for the 2 hours that you're watching it.
What's your favourite scene in it?
I still love when he first comes in, when he goes through the spill of the fact of, when they're asking him, what if they call my mama a whore? Well, is she? It's just like, it's just honest, it's like, oh, if he calls me a wanker, it's 2 words, so what? There's so many just little lines like that, which just make it fantastic.
What about you, Bray? You have a favourite scene?
Shit. I'd probably put one of those ones up there, but I really, really liked the part at the start where he's like, let's take it outside in the first club in New York. And then he just walks straight back in. I'm like, that's going to piss that guy off so fucking much. I love it. Because he's just like, I don't care. I don't care if you think I'm a pussy or whatever. I can beat you. I know I can beat you. I don't have to. You're outside. That's what I wanted.
The confidence that he has in this film at all times is incredible.
Yeah, it is. It really is. Even when he's talking to the doctor in the hospital, he's like, do you beat everyone? And he's like, yeah.
Yeah. That's what I do. Well, he even says that later on. He's like, that's what I do. It's not win, but...
But that was the awesome quote, because she's like, oh, have you ever won a fight? And he's like, well, no one wins a fight.
Yeah.
So it's showing his depth.
Something about always being prepared for them.
Yeah.
Yeah, that just shows the depth of his character.
I think my favourite scene, though, is he spear tackles a guy off a bike, then rips his fucking throat out. That is the greatest scene I think I've ever seen. That was fucking amazing. That is followed closely by the second greatest scene in this film is still the stunt woman who takes the full force punch, it looks like, to the face in the bar fight.
Yeah, that first bar fight.
Yeah. where you just see
Yeah.
this chick get reamed in the face.
Yeah.
It's huge.
Did you see in the office fight when the guy got thrown through the window? There was one dude, he got punched in the face, and it looked like the blood was already on his face before he got punched. And I'm
I
pretty
missed
sure that
that.
was the first punch he received.
I missed that, but it might just been the blood packet exploding early. Or
Yeah,
take
that's
two.
what it looks like. And like that dude already had blood before he got hit.
Oh, well, if it's there, we will have seen it now on an instant replay, I'm sure.
Yeah, no doubt.
At least on YouTube. Not through
Yeah.
the audio one, obviously.
Yeah.
So, Braden, what do you think of the acting performance in this? Who do you reckon was the best and who do you reckon was the worst?
I really like Sam Elliott.
Yeah.
So I'm going to say he was probably my favourite. Look, Patrick Swayze was really good, being the real sort of cool, calm and collected guy that he was to begin with. I like that as well, but Sam Elliott I think was probably my favourite. My least favourite, I think the worst, was probably Fat Suspenders Henchman.
The one that got attacked by a polar bear.
Yeah, the one that got attacked by a polar bear. He sucked.
That's fair. T-Bear?
Yeah, I think mine's the same. It's a toss between Dalton and Wade Garrett. Like it's the fact of like the teacher and student relationship. You know, every movie has one. I think Yoda was referenced before. Like there's, it's just that relationship just shows the whole way through. Like he was having a bad day, so he's ragging the guy up, and he was at another bar, and then he's ended up coming in himself, and then they were fighting together, and unfortunately he died. But that's the downside to the job. But, just that relationship and the way those two worked was just fantastic.
I'm going to give mine to the villain here because the only reason this movie works at its core is if Dalton has somebody who is an absolute piece of shit that you're rooting to see die.
Yeah, fair call.
And this guy, legitimately, I'm rooting through the entire film like, can someone just kill this guy? It's America. Somebody's killed this guy. And they do, and it's glorious the way he gets shot. And I reckon the worst performance, the worst character, I should say, I'm going to have to give it to his wife or his missus because the character doesn't make sense. Because, she's getting beaten up constantly, apparently, but then she's going to that bar every night and... I don't know.
I still like the fact that today I've learned for the first time after watching this many a time that Dalton actually had a first name. It wasn't until we sat here and we were looking at information I realised I've only ever known him as Dalton.
He only calls himself Dalton in the film.
As I say, I've never heard a first name before, but so there we go. James Dalton.
How about that?
So what do you give it out of 5, Braden?
I'm going to give it a 4 out of 5. I think the only things that let it down is, like I said, the timeline. What was the other thing I said before? Yeah, Patrick Swayze and his character growth, or not really. And I guess even the fact that the boss, even though they did a really good job in showing that he was a dickhead, the source of him and the whole problem here was his nephew got fired.
Yeah.
It just escalated for such what you would think is something so trivial. Just because he's the kind of guy who's just like, nah, I say what happens here.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a sociopath for you.
Yeah. So, 4 out of 5. It was still very enjoyable.
I have to go 5 out of 5. I've watched it way too many times and know too much of the movie not to. Any time I give a top list of movies, it's always up there. So, what about you?
10 out of 5. He spear tackled a guy off a fucking motorbike. I already made mine clear. This movie. This is the greatest 80s movie of all time. I love Lethal Weapon, a little bit too much, but this is the greatest 80s movie of all time. I don't care. Back to the Future, you've been replaced. This is the greatest 80s movie of all time. This is excellent. I absolutely recommend watching it. If you haven't seen this,
and the thing is, the movie doesn't take itself too seriously.
No, the only person taking himself seriously is the villain and the main hero. Dalton and Wesley are the only two characters in this film who take themselves seriously. Even when what's his name?
Doesn't he really at the start? He does not take himself seriously at all at the start.
Who?
Dalton.
Oh, I guess that's true. No, he does. He's always I think when he's sitting there stitching up and he's like, I don't know who you are. He's still taking himself pretty seriously.
Yeah, I don't know. Like when I was saying about how how he kicked the guy out of the bar and then didn't fight him, just walked back in. He's just like, yeah, I don't care what you think of me. Like, I don't care if you think I'm a pussy. Whatever. I've done
he's
what I
still
need
serious
to do.
about it the whole time.
Yeah.
He's still serious about his rep because he's like, okay, well, you do know who I am.
Doesn't really take himself seriously, I don't think.
Well, shit. Opinions. What the fuck was the line? Opinions vary.
Opinions vary. Yeah.
Well, I think that brings us to the end of this week's What the Fuck Did I Just Watch? Before we announce what we'll be doing next week, Braden, where can people find us?
You can find us on Facebook, which is our page, WTF with Adam and Braden. Subscribe to us on YouTube. Subscribe to Cabana Productions on YouTube as well if you want to check out the video version of these podcasts. And yeah, send us a message on Facebook or on YouTube or whatever if you've got a movie you'd like to see us review.
Or even if you've got thoughts on Roadhouse. I imagine a lot of people have things to say about Roadhouse. Leave your comments there too.
Yeah, absolutely. What's your favourite scene? Let us know.
That's right. And of course, don't forget you can, if you're watching the video version and you want this on the go, you can also get the audio on iTunes and any other podcast feeds. But T-Bear, thank you very much for joining us here today.
Thank you for having me.
And as for next week's episode, Braden, we've had a good run here of things we've tried to do that might have been shitty, have been moderate. Like Space Jam, we didn't agree was both shit. Napoleon Dynamite, we didn't agree with both shit. So we have to get something that is actually shit. So
something really shit.
Next week, we are doing Attack of the Killer Tomatoes.
Oh, that sounds shit.
I'm sure it will be, but this has been What the Fuck Did I Just Watch? I've been Adam.
And I am Braden.
And we've been joined by...
None other than T-Bear.
Thank you very much. T-Bear, where can they find you?
You can find me on Facebook with T-Bear BOA, or hunt down anything with Barely Trending and you'll be able to find me through that.
Excellent. Thank you so much for joining us. Ladies and gentlemen, that brings us to the end, and we'll see you next time. And I reckon I'm going to end this one on a Roadhouse clip instead of the music from it. Oh, fuck it. No, we can play some music. Everybody talk for a few minutes. Let's just talk for a few minutes.
You know those videos when you usually see someone like collide with something and then they keep repeating that collision to the beat of a song?
Yep.
I just keep imagining that now playing with the beat of Patrick Swayze spear tackling the dude off a motorbike.
Well, I mean, look, it is the greatest moment in cinematic history, I think. We can all agree on that. Not since the Wilhelm scream has something been so pivotal to film. It's just a great bump. Just the spear tackle, the bump, that fight.
I was going to say, it's that fight from the start. It's off the bike, and then it's into the edge of the water, and then the throwdown. It's just 3 minutes of pure action.
This whole film, I sat down, as I say, I used to look at it at the video store with its shithouse fucking cover and be like, I'm not watching this. And because my dad never was like, obviously now having watched it, I'm like, of course my dad when I was like 12 was like, yeah, get a copy of Roadhouse, son, you'll fucking love it. But like, I was blown away with just how fucking good this movie made me feel.
Yeah, it's a good movie. It's a good, solid movie.
Just stupid though. That's what it reminds me so much of Stallone shit. I found out an interesting thing while I was reading the trivia, Braden. Patrick Swayze had to have bodyguards around him at all times because women were showing up and fucking up scenes on the sets and shit like that just to try to get close to him.
That's Swayze fever.
Swayze mania. Just running wild, mate. Oh, yeah. Never seen anything or never read anything like it. Patrick Swayze must have been something else.
Mm.
What was it? Well, is that Sam Elliott used to ring up the doctor's wife?
Bill Murray.
There you go, Bill Murray.
Bill Murray loves this film, apparently. He thinks it's one of the most underappreciated films of all time. And I think it's Kelly Lynch. Is that her name? I'll just double check that's her name since we're in the end of it, so I've got time. Yeah, Kelly Lynch. Kelly Lynch, the chick who plays Doc. Whenever this film is on TV and that sex scene comes on with Patrick Swayze, Bill Murray will phone her husband, who is a director, and taunt him and just make shit at how he's watching his wife have better sex with Patrick Swayze than she's ever had with him. And Bill Murray's a fucking legend. That tied into Space Jam.
Well, yeah, it wasn't Bill Murray in Space Jam. It was Dan Aykroyd.
But he was only there because he was a friend of the producer.
Yeah. Shit. Yeah, I was just looking. The sequel, apparently, it was released directly to DVD, so it wasn't good enough to put in a film.
Oh, it's horrible.
And it's what? It's telling the story of Dalton's son.
Yeah.
It starts at Dalton's funeral, so obviously that way they didn't need to pay Patrick Swayze. And
Yeah,
yeah,
cool.
it's just a horrible storyline that makes no fucking sense. I've got it on DVD, but that's not the point.
That's terrible. Yeah, I feel like obviously before we head into the final Cabana Productions ad and the bumper, we obviously need to pay homage to Peter Griffin and his love of Roadhouse.
All right, everyone, all DVDs are $1 and everything must go. Come on in.
Oh my God, Roadhouse! I want to buy this.
Great, and as a bonus, I'll throw in What Dreams May Come with Robin Williams.
No, thank you.
No charge,
I do not want it.
but it's free, sir.
If that DVD even touches Roadhouse, I will kill you.
Don't worry. Someday someone will come and take you home for their very own.
Maybe far away, or maybe real nearby. He may be pouring her coffee, she may be straightening his tie.
Help! Somebody! These drunk redneck truckers are trying to have their way with me!
Not while my scrotum is pressed up against my stomach in these jeans, they won't. Roadhouse.
That was awesome, and its message is timeless.
Peter, the only message in that movie is that every problem in life can be solved by kicking.
Oh my God. Brian, you're right.
Peter, I'm joking.
What did you say to me?
Peter, what are you doing?
Get off my plane.
That's not even the same. Oh! What the hell?
Not gonna talk to me like that in my bar.
Not a bar.
Oh! Oh, that's right. Cleveland moved.
Here's your burger, sir.
Thank you.
Sir, I need another $1.25.
Is that right? Keep the change. Roadhouse. Okay, that is the last time you are gonna pull that crap. You hear me?
Yes!
Do you hear me?
Yes!
Now you are gonna hold down that football until Charlie Brown kicks it. You got that?
Yes!
Now go ahead, Charlie.
Yay!
And you know what else? I did some checking around. You're not a licensed therapist. Roadhouse.
You know, it's still early, Peter. What do you say we horse around a little, huh?
I think I can get on board with that.
Ow!
Roadhouse.
Peter, for God's sakes, if you're gonna do that, at least aim for my breasts. Oh, yeah!
Roadhouse.
Peter, I don't think you should be driving with your feet.
Roadhouse.
Wait, why are you taking the back way home? There are so many turns.
Roadhouse. 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 Roadhouse.
Peter, we've had complaints from all over town. You're gonna have to stop with the kicking.
Oh, yeah? I think my scary, otherworldly, shadowy spirit friends might have something to say about that. Ghost.
Do you hate dumb shit? Well, me too. Join me over at BAM TV, where I make fun of all sorts of stuff, with my segments of bad news and cringy capers, plus other skits and shenanigans. Head over to facebook.com/BAMTEEVEE for more info and all the links to the videos.